Hello, welcome to another session with my bike and me on a rainy Saturday afternoon. Today we're going to put these Arlen Ness grips on the bike. We're going to replace the stock ones with these, and I'm just going to run through how I do it. So let's get the tools out and get stuck in. So the first thing we're going to do is to drop this bar off here. Now you need to be careful because the ones that go on the controls are a T25. Now T25 does fit in there, but if you put any welly on it, it's going to strip it. So this one is a T27 and this is a T25. So just make sure you don't put a T25 in there and try and really give it some stick, because you'll end up doing some damage. So let's just take that off. And before I do any of that, what might be a really good idea is to put a towel over the tank, just in case. I'll try not to get in the way too much. Right, we'll just put that together so we don't lose anything. These screws won't fall out because you've got little nylon bits on the end, but just to keep it together. Right, we'll just hang that down there, and then next one is the T25. Okay, take that screw off so you get somewhere safe. There should be another one just under there. Now don't drop these screws because these haven't got the little bit of nylon on. So we need to make sure I'll put them in there. That then comes off. And then you gotta get the grip off. With a bit of luck it hasn't been glued on. Well, I think this one has been. I don't want to cut it off if I can help it. Yeah, this end here isn't moving. This front bit is moving. This bit here isn't. So that ain't coming off. And I really didn't want to cut it, but I'm going to have to. It's only this last little bit. That's got it. There's still a little bit of glue on there. Right, so that will now go on there like so. But what we'll do, we'll put some glue on there that they send with it. Now it's got Arlen Ness. It's actually got, I don't know if you can see that, but it's got Arlen Ness on there. So I'll just put it on so that when it's glued on, that's the right way round rather than wonky. So let's get the glue that they send with it. So we just put some glue there. Make sure the words are around the right way. Got one chance at this. Well, that's on. What we'll do, we just wipe that glue off that's around there. It's not going anywhere. Just make sure that's clean round there. Oh, don't drop it. Okay, we'll do this one first then. Now before you tighten it up, just make sure that you're comfortable with where it is. And don't go mad and graunch it up so tight you break everything, because that could be expensive. Again, just before you finish everything, just make sure that it's where you want it. Right. And with the 27, T27, just undo those screws again. Okay, remember they're captivated screws, so they're not going to bounce on the floor like the other ones. What you got to do is make sure that the cable, there's a little groove in the handlebar, and you got to make sure the cable is in that groove. You don't want to trap it. That's it. Job done. Let's move over to the throttle, shall we? Okay, so the throttle side. So you got to take all this off, obviously, and the best way to do that is to free some slack in the cable for later on when we're adjusting it. So if you notice, you've got about, well, I suppose that's about 3mm movement before the throttle kicks in, because you want to get that right, because if you've got to back this cable off, and if you don't put it back the way it is now, you could end up with a really fast tick over and it wouldn't idle properly. So you've got about, I've got about 3mm there before it actually starts to move. So I'm going to back this off here, slide that down, that's 3/8. Just crack the nut behind it, and wind it down, and then wind that one down as well. Okay, same thing this side. That's a T27. And that was pretty tight, that top one. So if you'd have put the 25 in there, that would have probably stripped that. Just loosen them off. And then with the other one, just undo that, loosen that off, and then this one should just come off. We've got those little captive washers on as well. And that should, with a bit of luck, just drop down. Gently drop down. Right, let's take that off the tank. Don't like putting things on the tank. This should just come off of there gently, and then Let me just move the camera a little bit so you're don't go all dizzy on me when I move it. Let's get around this side, might be a bit easier. So we need to just pull these little brass things, pull the cable out, and these little brass things come off the end of the cable if you're not careful, so just make sure you capture them. So let me just put you back on the tripod and we'll try and get a better shot. There's the cable that we slackened off, so that gives us enough play to just pull that throttle cable out. Need a little screwdriver just to help it on its way. Just be careful you don't drop these little brass bits. See that little brass bit there? That comes off. And if you drop it on the floor, the chances are you'll never find it. Then you do the same. That will then drop down. That one comes out a bit easier, and again just make sure you don't drop that little brass bit. You never find it. That then slides off. New one slides on. Then what we have to do is then put the little brass bit back on. That just slots into the hole on the new throttle grip. So that one is reasonably easy. A little brass bit back on. It's a little bit fiddly, but you get there. Right, so make sure the cables are in the groove in the right, so that's pushed right the way on. Just make sure that the little this bracket, this switch housing, has got a little lip on it. Make sure that where the groove of the cable is inside there, so that'll stop it being pulled off. Okay, and then you put the housing back on. Just don't graunch them up, just put them on, just tighten them up a little bit. And try and make sure that the slot here and the slot here are equal. Okay, so that's on there. It's not tight, it's loose, the screws are there. You've got a little, again there's a little aperture, a little dimple in the handlebar to let the cables go in. So make sure that you don't trap them. Then you bring you got a little notch there, and you've got a little notch here. They go together. So again, make sure the cable's not trapped. It comes up there, and it slots in there. Just being double safe with the cable. Again, make sure that the gap top and bottom with the little clamp is pretty even. And I'll just keep checking the cable because I'm a little bit nervous about cables getting trapped. It's not a good thing to happen. I just want to make sure the brake lever is in contact with the switch. I'll just tighten this up a little bit. Yep, brake light works okay. Right, so just tighten them up equally. Again, don't put any real pressure. They're only small screws. If you give them a lot of welly, then they're just going to shear and you can have all sorts of issues then. A nice pleasant little job turns into a nightmare. Lots of cars going backwards and forwards outside, so a bit noisy. Yeah, now you can see there's lots of play in there, so we need to just tighten it up again. So we just screw that back up. Just keep checking the play. A bit too much. And also make sure it comes back. You don't want it sticking out, locking out. So just make sure it just flicks back. And I've got about, I've got about 2 to 3 mil there. So just bring that looking up there. What I'll do, I'll put a little squirt of WD-40 in there. Put a little squirt of WD-40 in there. I can just feel that, so a little bit of movement and I can just feel pressure there, and then my accelerator will kick in. So just that little bit of free movement before it kicks in. That's how I like it. You adjust it to however you like it. So that's it. Really pleased with them. They feel good as well, although obviously you won't feel that when you got your gloves on. So yeah. There's the clutch, nice and firm and solid, and then over here we got the accelerator or throttle, whatever you want to call it. So there we go. I just hope that's been of use to you. Until next time, you guys take care. Bye bye.